What's up, Spud Nation? Hey, NFL Draft recap, giving out grades right here on thesportscoach.com. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up, Craig at thesportscoach.com. That's my email address. I answer every single email I get. And you know what? Sometimes they even get answered right here on the show. I've been giving out draft grades up until now. We have 1 through 10 completed. We're doing 11 through 15 tonight, and we're going to get it started right now with the Houston Texans. Houston Texans are a very, very good football team every year. The pro analysts say Texans are going deep in the playoffs. They're going to make a deep run. Well, the Texans have offensive firepower everywhere. That's what they're good at. They can score, but they couldn't stop anyone last year. Secondary was horrible. Defensive line, they had Mario Williams. Beyond that, horrible. Linebackers, Brian Cushing, shooting up roids, being crazy. They need him to stay clean. They need him to be in the lineup. You know what? They brought in Wade Phillips. He's going to man their defense. They're switching over. Yeah, that's right. They're switching up defenses. And I hear after this draft, they're moving Mario Williams to linebacker. Scary stuff. Look out. Opposing quarterbacks, running backs. It's going to be a scary, scary thing. All right, we're getting to it. Houston Texans, they go defense the majority of this draft. Start out, D-end, J.J. Watt out of Wisconsin. I got the opportunity to watch J.J. Watt week in, week out. This guy is an absolute beast. He's got a motor on him. It never stops. And you know what? He's a high-character guy. You can't go wrong with high-character guys. I loved this pick. I thought J.J. Watt could have been a top 10 pick. Just squeaks out of the top 10. Texans found themselves a real gem. A lot of the so-called experts say he's not the most athletic guy. He won't get it done. Blah, 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 blah. J.J. Watt is legit. He's a real player. You don't find a guy that goes as hard as J.J. Watt goes from the start of the game to the end of the game. He'll do that whether they're up by 7 points, down by 50 points. He's going to come out there. He's going to play hard. I love the pick. J.J. Watt, lock it down. Texans, beautiful pick. Second round, they go Brooks Reed. I love Brooks Reed. I thought this was a super pick as well. Brooks Reed, D-line out of Arizona. Again, a pass rusher, guy who's going to get after the quarterback. Having J.J. Watt and Brooks Reed, that allows them to move Mario Williams to outside linebacker. It's going to be a scary situation when you have all this firepower coming at you. Yeah, the secondary might not be the greatest, but quarterbacks are not going to have a lot of time back there. So, great job. Texans starting off really strong. Didn't have a third-round pick, dropped to the fourth round. They get Rashad Carmichael, a defensive back. They need secondary help. Great pick. Fifth round, they had 2 picks. I'm going to butcher this guy's name probably. Shiloh Keogh, defensive back, Idaho. Another D-back, another cornerback. Bring them on into Houston. They need all the help they can get on defense. And they get T.J. Yates, quarterback, North Carolina. I am a big fan of this guy. A lot of athleticism. Whether or not he's going to play quarterback in the NFL is to be determined, but they got themselves a good one right here. Houston, so far they're killing this draft. Then they have 7th round. 2 picks in the 7th round. They get Derek Newton, offensive lineman, Arkansas State, and another one I'm going to butcher, Chida Ozagawa, defensive lineman, Rice. So there you have it. The Houston Texans, they know what they needed. They addressed every concern they had. I love their draft. I'm giving them a solid A. You can't go wrong with filling holes. And they filled them with guys that are going to step right in and get the job done, be starters, give them many, many minutes right off the bat. Great job, Houston Texans. A much improved team coming into this season. All right, here we go with the 12th selection. The Minnesota Vikings were on the clock, and they dropped an absolute bomb on the NFL world. Yeah, Minnesota, a bunch of talent on the board. They could go many different ways. You know, we all know they needed a quarterback. Could have went quarterback in the second round, maybe the third round. But Minnesota, they do what they do. And that's why their franchise is struggling mightily right now. They went and they got Christian Ponder, a guy who was second or third round talent, and the Vikings draft him top 15. Minnesota, let the crack pipe go. I don't know what you were doing. Absolutely ridiculous pick. I understand you need a quarterback. Christian Ponder is a second round talent. And if someone else wanted to take the chance in the first round, let them do it towards the end of the draft. In the first round, at least. Minnesota's got a really high pick, almost in the top 10, and they go and they reach. This is an absolute stretch by the Minnesota Vikings. Christian Ponder, I guess you are the new face of the Minnesota Vikings. When all the analysts are saying he's a Chad Pennington type, you know you didn't do good. Chad Pennington with his limp noodle arm, lack of mobility, just didn't get it done. Hey, good luck to you, Minnesota. I feel really, really sorry for my boy Adrian Peterson because I love him so much. Good luck. So the Minnesota Vikings, all right, maybe they can regroup, rebound a little bit, and fill a hole that they need. In the second round, they go Kyle Rudolph, tight end, Notre Dame. Best tight end in the draft class. Great selection. Almost anywhere other than Minnesota. They have Vasante Shienko, a very, very capable tight end. He knows the system. He's there. He's played. He puts up big numbers. This isn't a need. What are they doing? Minnesota. Your heads are exploding right in front of everyone. This franchise is not getting better. I don't know what they were doing. Fourth round, they go Christian Ballard, defensive lineman out of Iowa. Their D-line is getting old. I understand this pick, I guess. Fifth round, Brandon Burton, cornerback out of Utah. You need about 50 corners on your team to help slow down the Green Bay Packers. So great pick here. Sixth round, the Vikings were very active, just stockpiling late round picks. DeMarcus Love, offensive line, Arkansas. Mistral Raymond, another defensive back, South Florida. Brandon Fusco, another offensive lineman. And Ross Holman, linebacker, Ohio State. Now, they get some value here in the sixth round. Ross Holman, Ohio State, they've played in big games. They play in a tough conference. Like the pick. They get some lineman help. Not going to step in and help right away. But great backups here, and another cornerback, much needed. And in the seventh round, the Vikings, they go DeAndre Reed, defensive line, Arizona, and Stephen Burton, wide receiver, Texas A&M. And that's the end of the Vikings draft. Now, the Vikings have a ton of questions going into this offseason. Are they going to be able to get Sidney Rice back on their team? Well, with signing Christian Ponder, I'm highly doubting that. So they could have went receiver in the draft. Well, they waited till the last round to go do that, and who knows. All in all, I'm giving the Vikings an F. This was an absolute tragedy. This was an awful draft. You guys can argue this as much as you want. Christian Ponder is not the answer, and they reached way, way too highly for him. Vikings, that's a big F, and that is not a good start going into this next upcoming season. All right, staying in that same division, the Detroit Lions. Yes, I'm loving this. Detroit, they had a gift fall right into their lap. It wasn't needed, so to say, but it was a gift. It was hand-wrapped. It had a big, beautiful bow on it, and it came in the name of Nick Fairley. He was my second best player on defense coming into this draft. He's just mean. He's nasty. He's got Ndamukong Suh-like traits. And you know what? They're going to be playing side by side. Two big, pissed off defensive linemen, both athletic, both going to get after the quarterback. You put them along with Kyle Vanden Bosch, and good Lord, the Detroit Lions front four is the best in football. I love it. Great selection. It wasn't a need, but wow, did they get that much better. Great selection, Detroit. Second round, they go Titus Young, wide receiver, Boise State, and Mikel LaShore, running back, Illinois. Talk about hitting home runs. They're getting fastballs thrown right down the middle to them, and they are hitting it out of the park. Can't say enough good things about Detroit's draft to this point. Titus Young going to step in. He's going to be a big-time receiver right away. Guy put up crazy numbers at Boise. Excellent pick by Detroit. And Mikel LaShore, he's a running back. He's a top 3 running back in this draft. The Lions snag him. Great pick. He's going to step in there. Javid Best and him, a great 1-2 combo. Detroit has another pick in the 5th round. They go, I'm going to butcher this guy's name as well, Douglas Hoagie, linebacker, Syracuse. This guy is raw. He's a raw talent, very athletic. He was a running back, transferred over to linebacker, and put up big numbers. Obviously, he did enough to get drafted in the 5th round. Great raw talent here for Detroit. And in the 7th round, why not get a lineman? That's the time to get a lineman, kind of a bigger guy. Johnny Culbreth, lineman, South Carolina State. I can't praise the Detroit Lions enough. Yeah, they've had a few rough drafts before, taking those receivers over and over and over again. But you know what? They hit an absolute home run with this draft. Great job, Detroit. A+. Phenomenal draft. St. Louis Rams, you're on the clock. And I love their draft as well. They did a phenomenal job. Started off in round 1, taking Robert Quinn, D-end / outside linebacker type guy. He's going to give him a pass rush on the outside. Rams need it. It's great. D-end, North Carolina, Robert Quinn, round 1. Round 2, Lance Kendricks, tight end out of Wisconsin. Some would have argued he's the best pass receiving tight end in the draft class. Not the greatest blocker, phenomenal in the open field, great hands. Got to watch him at Wisconsin, and wow, did he continue to get better and better. Going to add a nice weapon for Sam Bradford. 3rd round, Austin Pettis. Another Boise State wide receiver, speed burner, great selection for the Rams. 4th round, Greg Sales, wide receiver out of Hawaii. They are just putting weapon upon weapon upon weapon around Sam Bradford. That's how you get the Rams better, and that's what they're doing. Wide receiver out of Hawaii, 6'2", runs a 4.6, so not the fastest receiver, but a good possession guy right here. Get a bigger receiver out there. Can't go wrong. 5th round, Jermail Hines, Ohio State, free safety. This guy plays more like a linebacker. Bring him up into run support. He's great in the run game. He hits people, not afraid to tackle. Great selection. In the 7th round, Rams had 3 picks. Mikhail Baker, defensive back out of Baylor. He's fast, 4.40. Good in the return game. That's probably where he'll make the team, in that return game or special teams. Jabara Williams, outside linebacker, Stephen F. Austin. He's a high character guy. Played 2 ways at this college. He played running back and outside linebacker. Much better outside linebacker. Just a high character guy. Again, another guy that'll probably make the team on special teams, but you can't have enough high character guys. And lastly, Jonathan Nelson, Oklahoma. He's a safety. He's a very hard worker. All the stats say hard worker. Kind of gets overshadowed, but still puts up really big numbers. 102 tackles last year. The Rams, I'm giving them an A. This is a very solid draft. Surrounded Sam Bradford a little bit with some nice weapons. Also improved their defense. Rams are becoming the clear-cut favorite over there in the West. All right, Miami Dolphins. I know a lot of people had high hopes. Mark Ingram, please Mark Ingram, bring him in. Well, I think they went the most intelligent route they could. They bring in Mike Pouncey. He's a center. He's going to be the centerpiece of that offense for years to come. I'm talking 10 plus years. You saw what his brother did this past year for Pittsburgh. Mike Pouncey, center out of Florida. Solid selection for the Miami Dolphins. It couldn't have been any better. He fell to them. Great pick by Miami. Round 2, they get Daniel Thomas, running back, Kansas State. He's 6'2", great in the receiving game, a big bruiser type. They found their running back. You didn't get Mark Ingram. It's too bad. You got a nice center. Now you have a nice running back to go along with them. 4th round, Edmund Gates, wide receiver, Abilene Christian. 4.3 140. You talk about flying. This guy had rocket jetpacks on his feet. Flying. He's got a 40-inch vertical. He's 6 feet tall. Nice weapon to have. Maybe throw him in the return game. You don't teach speed like that. That was a phenomenal find really late. Charles Clay out of Tulsa. He's a tight end, fullback, H-back. Throw him in the backfield somewhere. He'll catch the ball. He'll block. He'll do all the dirty work. Versatile player. You can't have enough of those. 7th round, Frank Curse, defensive tackle, Bama, A&M. He's 6'4", 315 pounds. Some say this was the best player that Miami took in the draft. That's high praise in the 7th round. This guy is a space eater. He's going to clog the lane. I love this pick. Great job, Miami. And Jimmy Wilson, defensive back out of Montana. This guy is way more valuable than what he went in the 7th round. He's a great cornerback. He had to sit out an entire year. He was arraigned in a shooting. Long story, but they got a steal here in the 7th round. Might have some character issues, but Miami, great pick. I have a feeling this kid right here, Jimmy Wilson, he's going to get a lot of playing time, maybe in the nickel, dime, something like that, but you'll see him on the field. Great selection by Miami. I'm giving them an A. The Dolphins, rack them, man. Mike Pouncey, a solid pick. You can't start out your draft any better than to find a franchise-type player. There you go, Spud Nation. That is 11 through 15. Tell me what you think. Agree, disagree. Let me know how my grading is turning out right here on the Sports Couch. This website is all for you, the fans. So comment, questions, concerns, hit me up. Facebook, my email, craig@thesportscoach.com, or on Twitter. All right, Spud Nation, tomorrow we're going to be hitting up 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. There we go. NFL fever is in full effect. Till tomorrow, we're out.